Alright, so here are my instructions for what is called an arrow fold card. I saw a Pinterest post from a lady that works at a website called Stamp Your Art Out. And she does a great job in the video, but it's a live stream tutorial, and I wanted to kind of condense it into instructions that I would remember. So this is just a really neat fold, and then I like the way the card presents on the inside. So I'm going to give myself and whoever else wants them instructions on how to do it. The trickiest part of this is the fold. So let's get started with that. Normally I would have some of these pieces already done, but since the fold is such an important part of the card and the cuts, I'm going to do it as I go so that it's really clear. The first piece of paper you need is a piece of cardstock. That's your regular cardstock. This is 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And we're going to go ahead and score this at 4 1/4. The rest of the scoring that you're going to do, you're going to want to use your trimmer, the track in your trimmer to do that. So you're going to go ahead and fold this. You're going to want to fold it. This card opens up and down, I guess would be the way to say it. So you want to line those edges up really nice and then burnish that fold. Now, this is the part of this where you're going to need a pencil and a ruler. So in the center of your card, on the bottom, you're going to make a mark at 2 3/4. Then the simplest way for me to remember was to turn my card and measure from the top, which is where your fold is. You're going to measure down 2 1/8 and make another mark. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So now the bottom of your card, or the open end, is up here, and you're going to measure at 2 1/8. Now we'll take our paper trimmer. We're going to unfold this for a minute. You should be able to see those marks. Take your trimmer, excuse me, and you're going to want to line up that first mark at 2 1/8, and then the mark you made for the center. Now I like to close, I like to close the guard when I do this because I feel like it holds on to my paper. And then you're going to score this. Now the sharper you make that point at the center, or the closer you get that together on both of these sides, the better your arrow will look. So we're going to turn this way, and we're going to do the same thing from this 2 1/8 inch mark to this mark we made in the center of the card. So that's about where we want it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to score again, except this time you're going to score from the corner of where you made your fold, there at the top, and you're going to score again to that center mark that we made. So put that corner in there and your center mark, and go ahead and score that one. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. Place your corner in the track, excuse me, and the center mark. So now, when you're finished, you should have something, I don't know why I have 2 lines there, but you should have something that looks like this. So the first thing you're going to do to get your arrow folded is you're going to fold these 2 triangles up. we're going to take this and we're going to fold it up. And we're going to fold this one up as well. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fold. It's easier if you flip your card over. So now this is the inside of the card. You're going to fold these ones to the inside. So you kind of have to get it you have to pick it up so you don't bend that flap that you folded on the outside, and then burnish that. So you have two folds. You have one that comes in and one that goes out. So that essentially you wind up with, I guess would be an inverted paper airplane. I don't know if that makes sense. So again, you're going to want to, this is the front of the card, this is the inside of the card. You're going to want to fold that other side or that other score line, the outer one, inner one, I don't know what you want to call it, to the inside. So what you're looking at right now, this is the inside of the card. So now when we close this, you can see we're going to have to decorate that point, aren't we? So one of the things you want to make note of is if you're using white core paper, like I am, you're going to have a little bit of that paper peek through on that corner fold. But essentially, that's all the card is, really, is getting those two folds done. Now, I would definitely glue these flaps down so that your card will lay nicely. Get some glue on that one. Get some glue on this one. Be careful when you do this that you don't get glue where there is no paper. So you don't want, like I just did, see? Now I have glue showing on my side that you'll see. So you want, when you glue that down, you want to put the glue, oh my goodness, on this part, not on the flap. You want to put it on the part of the arrow. Hopefully that makes sense to myself when I look back at this. And if you unfold it again, you want to put it on the part that you're going to stick down. And these are going to fold into the card. And that should keep your arrow fold nice and sturdy. This paper has a little bit of a texture to it, so it doesn't really like the glue. And now that I know that about this type of paper, I probably won't use it again for this type of card. A piece of solid core cardstock would be the best, or just plain white. Then you won't have this problem that I have here at my tip either. Solves all sorts of problems by using just the solid stuff. So that is essentially what the card looks like. Now we're going to decorate this. To decorate this, you're going to use, it's really simple, the pieces of paper that you use relatively little paper and you get a really neat result. So set that aside for now. The first thing that you're going to want is a piece of coordinating cardstock. I'm going to use this real pretty, I guess you'd call it teal? Mint teal? This is going to be, it's 5 inches by 4 inches. You're going to need your ruler again, or you can use your grid paper. And you're going to want to make a mark at the center, which is 2.5. And you're going to be cutting this so that you get 3 triangles out of it. So if you do it right, let's hope I do. I haven't had the best luck with doing things right the first time today. So the mark that you made, you want to put it in the center of your track, and then you want to put the corner, the opposite corner, in the other side on that upper part of the track. And then you're going to cut from the center mark to the corner, just like that. So there's one triangle. You want to keep that. Flip your paper over, put that mark back in the track and the corner back in there as well. Now, one thing you want to remember when you're cutting corner to corner, sometimes your blade will grab that paper and it will tear it. So I like to start in the middle when I'm cutting from a diagonal edge to a diagonal edge. That way my paper doesn't tear. So now you have your 3 triangles. You'll use all 3 of these on your envelope. And I'll show you where. This one is going to go here on the top, just like that. This one will go here, and the other one will go on this side. So isn't that neat? You just use one small piece of paper and you get a lot of coverage. So then the coordinating designer series paper that I chose to go with this is from I think it's called Bird Ballad from Stampin' Up. This piece of designer series paper is 4 1/2 by 3 3/4. And we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to want to mark the center of it, which is going to be 2 1/4, which on my grid paper is 1, 2, almost right there in the middle of that little green feather. And you're going to put that, again, put the center mark that you made in the track in the corner on the corner. I like it. Make your cut. So there's your one triangle. You're going to flip it, put the center to corner, there you have your other set of triangles. The other thing that I've noticed since I've chosen a darker card base is that I am going to need to put something underneath these pieces so that you can see my sentiment. I haven't gotten fancy with that. I've just grabbed a piece of white paper and I'm gonna just line that up in there. Now, the thing that makes that a little bit tricky is that these are cut to size. So I guess what you could do is just line them up right even with those edges so that you don't have any reveal. Let's do that and see how it turns out. Well, either my cut was crooked or something else. We're gonna have to see what to do about that. I think what we'll do on this one is we'll end up just covering that crooked line right up. That might just work. Oh, the joys of being left-handed. They don't make tools for left-handed people. I don't know that tweezers are really a right or left-handed thing, but they sure don't seem to ever work out the way I want them to. Well, that didn't turn out too bad. Hooray! So then we're going to take our other triangle So again, this is going to be much more simple if you just used a white card base. I did that on the first one and I didn't have to come up with all these extra steps. So if you've already picked out your paper and you've picked a darker card base, I would rethink that to a degree. All right, although that looks really nice. So now when we close it, you'll see a little bit of that white that peeks through, but I don't think that's a deal breaker. So then our pieces of our designer series paper that we cut, they're going to go on top of our cardstock. Doesn't that just look cool? I'm trying to figure out what to use these feathers for. I really like the feathers, but my mind kind of draws a blank on them. There's that. Actually, it looks really nice, and I got my feathers going the right direction. Excellent. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I have to come up with something. Now, you'll notice this triangle only fits on here one way really, really well. The rest of these ways, it just doesn't work. And that appears to be the one way. The more precise you make those measurements and the better you make that fold, the better these triangles will all fit. On the first one I made, I had to do a little bit of trimming because I wasn't too concerned with the measurements, and this part got a little bit fiddly on me, but this one's going much smoother. Hopefully we cut this right so that our feathers are going the right way too. Oh, hoorah! All right. Didn't that turn out cute? There you have it. So that's that arrow fold. You now have space in there for your sentiment. The only drawback to this is you kind of have to do your stamping after you get your card assembled, which can be kind of tricky if you make a mistake. Stamping and I have not come to an agreement, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to put on the inside. So I'm going to work on covering up this. But that is basically how that is folded. Excellent. I hope I remember that. Thanks.